Hey there, are you struggling to get units in No Man's Sky? Well, here are some of my favorite ways to get rich. Number 1. Selling chlorine. For this method, you are going to need a medium or large refiner, salt, and oxygen. I didn't have any salt or oxygen at the time, so I went to go harvest some at the ocean near my current base. Now that I got the salt out of the way, it was time to go get some oxygen. I decided to go buy some oxygen at the space station because it was the fastest way to acquire a large amount. I suggest trading with the NPCs in the landing area as they give way more rather than going to different space stations. Once you have acquired the desired amount of oxygen, you will go back to your base. Once home, you go to your refiner and combine the salt and oxygen together. When you run out of salt for the input, take the chlorine that you just made and exchange it for the salt input. This will increase your chlorine by 6 times, given you have the oxygen. Once you have finished, you will head back to the space station to sell. You will open the Galactic Trade Terminal and hit sell. Once there, locate your chlorine and make sure it is set to the max amount you have. Good job! You are one step closer to taking over the galaxy. Let's take a look at how much we spent and how much we made to determine the profit margin of the chlorine method. Number 2. Cobalt. Since we were already at the Galactic Trade Terminal, I decided to buy the cobalt. But if you have a supply of it, then you don't need to do this. Once again, we will be buying our oxygen from the space station instead of finding it organically. Once you have the oxygen, you'll head back home to refine it. Open the medium or large refiner and combine the cobalt with oxygen. You'll get ionized cobalt. With the ionized cobalt, you'll do the same method like the salt, replacing the cobalt with ionized cobalt to increase your supply of ionized cobalt by 6 times. This method is very similar to the chlorine method, except there are 2 main differences. First, once you have finished with your oxygen, you'll take the ionized cobalt that you have amounted and put it back through the refiner to come out with cobalt. This will increase your supply of cobalt by 2 times. Second, once you go to the space station to sell, you will rebuy all the cobalt in that trade terminal, essentially increasing your cobalt supply. You'll then travel to other space stations to do the same thing. Note, the downside of these methods is that large quantities will crash the economy of that product for hours. Number 3, expeditions. The cheapest option to make money is by either visiting the emission NPC on the space stations or going to the anomaly and getting missions from the Nexus. Going to the anomaly, in my opinion, is more worth it because you can also do them with friends and it gives you better loot. For example, I picked the Roots of Aggression mission and just had to mine hazardous flora, so I did it by myself. I headed out of the anomaly and went to the planet that had the mission on it. You'll need to use your visor to find where to start the mission. Once you finish the mission, head back to the anomaly and speak with the Nexus once again to receive your reward. It is not as profitable as selling items, but if you don't have money to invest in spending, then this is better.